Today we're going to be working with liquid capacity. Liquid, not distance, because if we measure distance, if we're measuring it in meters, if we're measuring how heavy something is, pushing down, we measure it in grams. Now we've got this thing called liters, which is a liquid measurement. So how much liquid is there? Well, it depends on the container, how much will fit. So in the metric system, we use this thing called a liter. It's spelled L-I-T-E-R. It looks like the word lighter, but it's pronounced liter. This is milliliters, so this is a smaller, this is milliliter, and that's a smaller unit. So wow, so this is a little different than grams. Now we start with a really big unit, and we're going down and making smaller things called milliliters. They get smaller. How much is a liter about? Well, it's about 1/4 of a gallon. Now, what does that mean, 1/4 of a gallon? Well, if you took a gallon of milk, a big jug of milk, let's see, you got this milk jug with a handle on it, and you drank 1/4 of it, yeah, there's, oh my gosh, all the way to the top. So if you drank this much, 1/4 of it, you would be drinking a liter. So a liter is a lot of liquid to drink. It's usually water bottles in class, the skinny ones, the plastic ones that look like this, they're somewhere around 1/2 liter, which is about, we'll figure out what that is in the metric system, 1/2 liter. And that's about somewhere around some regular sized drink. Okay, so here we go. If we have 1 liter, which is a lot of liquid, we could also say that 1,000 of these little things will actually make 1 of the liters. Okay, so wait a minute. A milliliter must be pretty small. Well, a milliliter of liquid is actually the same size as one of those little centicubes that we used to play with in the little yellow ones. The little centicubes, and guess what? 1,000 of these milliliters will make up a whole liter, which would actually be one of those big yellow cubes we used to play with last year too, that had was 100 by 100. Now, what we're going to do, clear that, 1,000 of these to do one of these. So it looks like there's a pattern like last time. So there must be 5,000 of these to make 5. So I'm just looking for a pattern right now to see how they relate. There's just a pattern. 38. So this must be 38,000 of these little things to make 38 liters. All right, the pattern's not hard, so if it's an easy pattern, I can just fill it in, right? 49 moves over, there's 49. And so now I've got to go back the other way. So I got 54, so put the 54 back. You can fill it in. 54, make sure you have the right number of zeros. 92, could you answer that? 92. We're going to fill this in over here, so it looks like 92 is going to come over here. So we see the relationship is 0, 0, 0s, 3 zeros all the way down with these answers here. I'm videotaping, I'll be right with you in a little while, okay? So we're going to move next door to this compilation, and we're going to look at some of these things. Bella's here right now, and I'm going to try to stop this, but I can't, so I'm going to keep going. I'm going to say, Bella, thank you very much for those. Happy birthday today. Yeah, would you put a cupcake on my table? And thank you. All right, so Bella from last year. Anyway, so now we're at 2 liters. I know what they are. Now I've got 500 milliliters. And like our last exercise with grams, we know that 500 milliliters is still 500 milliliters. That's not going to change. If I have 500 of those little milliliters, I still have 500 milliliters. Now the problem is, in addition to the 500 milliliters, I also want to change these liters to milliliters. I want to find the missing number here. So what I need to do is change this. So jumping back over, 2 liters, well, there's 1 liter. 2 liters would be, well, if it looks the pattern's right, 2 liters would be 2,000 of those milliliters. So I'm going to assume that I need to put a 2 in the thousands place right here. So I've got 2,000. What I've done is just add 2,000 plus that 500 to get a total number of these little milliliters. Looking down here, I've got 850 milliliters, so I'll put that back here. I know there's 850 milliliters equals 850 milliliters, but I've also have these 70 liters. Now, the pattern I saw last time was the 70 is in front of 3 zeros because when I have 70 milliliters, I actually have 1 liter is 1,000 of these little things I'm going to try to change it into, these milliliters. So I'm going to take the 70, keep it in the right spot, and 70 goes right over here, and I've got 70,850. Pattern's pretty cool. This one's 15 milliliters. We saw the same thing with grams, so we're going to put the 15 over here, keeping the 15. 33 is 33,000. Now, don't put 33 here, because that's only going to make 3,000. That kind of messes it up. We want to keep it at 33,000 when we slide it over. So we're going to have to back up, take my mistake out, and put the 33,000, and there's going to have to be a placeholder 0 there to keep it away from the 15. Same down here, I think. Well, there's 2 liters, there's 8 milliliters. I know 8 milliliters is 8 milliliters, right? That stands to reason, they're the same. 2 liters, though, again, 2 from above, we actually saw we changed it to 2,000 up here. We're going to do the same thing down here, 2,000. Now, place value tells me that I have to have a tens place and I have to have a hundreds place, and I'm set. All right, I know a little about milliliters and liters. I know a liter is about this size with a cap on it. I get about that much. Next door, a milliliter would look just like a little cube of water, just a little bit. Maybe it's smaller than a sugar cube of water, one of those little centicubes. So milliliters are very small. You know, when you have a medicine cup at home and your mom puts some medicine in it, usually that's in milliliters, and you don't drink very much. This is about, whoa, a fourth of a gallon of milk. You wouldn't drink that much medicine. So liters are big, milliliters are small. Oh, there's some more on this page. Let me see if we can change this back. We know those are milliliters. So we know we can keep 812. So we know this part. And this part really represents what can be known as the liters. You can go ahead and fill those in. Go ahead and pause the video if you need to. And we'll go on. Down here we're going to solve. We've got to add some milliliters to liters. So this is the liter part, the thousands, right? So this is 1 liter, and this is 760 milliliters. Now what are they asking us to do? Just solve. Okay, so we want to add it to 40 liters. So we can say that there's 40 that belongs with this 1 liter sticking out here, and that looks like it's going to be 41 liters with 760 of those little milliliters left over. Now they didn't tell me to put it in the smallest or biggest unit, so I could rewrite this whole thing as the number 41,760 milliliters. Now that's a lot of those little tiny pieces of liquid. You can either write it this way, mixed in as a mixed unit, or you can write it this way as 1 unit. Kind of cool. So there's your 41, which is your 41 liters. That's A. Where's B? B. We're going to subtract. Oh, cool. Now, 7 can't subtract. Well, if I stick the 7 minus the 3, I will end up having 4. But wait a minute. It's not just 3 it has to go away. It's 3,400 milliliters. In this case, I kind of want everything to be milliliters. So I'm going to change this one to milliliters too. So you can do it in your head, but you know now it's 7,000 of those little milliliters and 7 huge liters. Lots of little pieces of water, little cubes of water would make that. So now it's an easy subtraction problem. Now we just say, oh, it's just 7,000, which is 7,000 milliliters, subtracts out 3,400 milliliters. Now, it's a regular old subtraction problem with borrowing for the 4, but these are easy, really simple. 0, 0, got to borrow from the 7. You can pause and go ahead and do that one. Letter C. All right, C. Express the answer in the smaller units. We're going for milliliters. So let's convert the whole thing to milliliters. Let's call this 25,478 milliliters. We'll have it done. This one will change to 3,812 milliliters, and that'll be done. Now they're just added together. Simple, almost like you've seen before. We've added numbers to numbers before and come up with an answer. I would stack them, 2, 5, comma, 4, 7, 8, 3, comma, 8, 1, 2, and then I would add them and would come up with the total milliliters. You can do that. Let's go to the next one. Express the answer in the smaller units, again, milliliters. They're just asking you to change these liters to milliliters. So go ahead and change that to milliliters. You know how to do 21 liters, that's a lot. Change into a lot of those little tiny milliliters. You're going to end up with a lot of little milliliters. This one, you're going to subtract this. Let's change this all to milliliters. So we're going to say there's 2,000. Whoa, 8. Is that, looks like a number I've seen before. Was that above? Let me see, look it up there. 2008, was that one of those stuff in 2008? No, yeah, something like that. Oh, there it is. There it is. There's 2008 up here. So it's 2 liters, 8 milliliters. They repeated it down here. How nice. 2 liters, 8 milliliters. So we already knew that was 2008 of those little milliliters. Now this is a subtraction problem. So you got to take these 21,000 milliliters minus this 2,008 milliliters, and you're going to have to work out the problem in this area and then get the answer. Okay. Express the answer in mixed units again. So they want to have liters and milliliters separated out afterwards. That's cool. Can you take 425? Can you take 500? Would you answer that? Can you take those two away? You can't. You're going to have to borrow. So what I would say, let's change this whole thing into milliliters to begin with. So it's all in milliliters. So I'm going to call it 7,425. Is it girls? Who's calling me? Minus this one here. Put that under there, and you'll have all in milliliters.
This is McGinnis.
Okay, what's she need?
Papers down at the office.
Who's down there?
There's papers down at the
Oh, would you go grab them for me? Thanks, kiddo.
Can both of us?
Yeah, go ahead. So we're going to have something, I'm going to guess it's going to be in 6,000 something. There's going to be this many numbers under here when you get done. So my question is, do those belong with milliliters when you want to show mixed units? No, everything that's in the thousands are going to represent these things called liters. So you're going to have to take this number in the thousands, and that's going to be your liters. And then these 3, if there are 3 in there, will be your milliliters after you get done with the subtraction of 547. Now milliliters. There's a borrowing problem here, right? You're going to come down. I'm guessing there's going to be a 6 here because I can see it already has a borrow. So you're going to borrow for the 7. You're going to end up with 6,000 something. So we know you're going to have 6 liters because thousands of milliliters equals a liter. Next expression. Express the answer in mixed units again. Here we go. Same thing. My idea is to always make these into just milliliters. 31,433. Turn them all into milliliters and be done with it. This one, change that to milliliters to make my life easy. 12,000 blah 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 milliliters, right? You're getting it now, aren't you? From up above, you can see that turns into milliliters. Now, subtraction, you can't do sideways, right? You're not going to subtract sideways. You're going to put a number over top of a number, you're going to subtract, and you're going to get your answer here. And there's going to be something in the thousands, and those will be in liters. And anything below the thousands, down here up to 100, in the hundreds place, these will all be your milliliters. You can separate them apart. No big deal. I'm going to go to the next page now. You can pause it and go back if you need to stop. Go ahead and pause this. The next page shows some word problems. Now that we know how to change milliliters and liters, they're just going to make us figure out if it's addition or subtraction or what exactly is going on here. All right, so John's mother, you want to do a tape diagram to combine those? That's fine. Simplify, algorithm, write your answer. Will do. Algorithm could be addition, whatever we need to do, subtraction. John's mother combined 3,500 milliliters of tropical drink. Now, whoa. 3,500, that's 3 liters and 500 milliliters. Okay, we know this part. Now, Now they're doing liters and milliliters separated. Okay, so they're trying to trick us a little bit. That's okay. Now they got 3,095 milliliters. They're trying to trick us here of ginger ale. And 1 liter, 600 milliliters of pineapple juice to make a punch. Order the quantity of each drink from least to greatest. Oh, this isn't too bad. Least to greatest. So all I have to think about is I've got 3 liters. I know that's bigger than 1 liter. So I know the order between these 3 liters, 95 milliliters, and this 1 liter, 600 milliliters. I know this is more. Now I've got to decide where this one falls. So I'm going to do a tape diagram. The biggest one will be here written in this tape. The next one will be in this tape. And the last one will be in the smallest tape. Well, I already have these 2 figured out. Now I just have to figure out, is this one in the middle or is it the top? Well, at 3 liters, it's tied with this one because this, we know, in milliliters, is really 3 liters and 500 milliliters. Now we can compare it. I get it. Okay, so now I just put my answers in the right order from least to greatest. Now this is the least one and this is the greatest one. So least to greatest. Now I write my answers. Least to greatest. Okay, so I've ordered them from least to greatest. I can see the tape diagram. There's the smallest, there's the biggest. Just make this the smallest and this one the biggest. Okay, cool. How much punch did John's mother make? Now we have to combine all the tapes together to get a total. So we're not going to draw a tape diagram for this, but I'll represent it here for you. You're just going to combine all 3 of these drinks together. That's going to require you to add a line of numbers, plus a line of numbers, plus a line of numbers to get your total milliliters here and liters at the end. So this is not too bad, although you have to add those 3 numbers together. Now, a family drank 1 liter, 210 milliliters of milk at breakfast. If there were 3 liters of milk before breakfast, how much milk was left? Okay, so there's 3 solid liters. Okay, so let's just think of this. I got a liter here, 3 solid liters. So I'm going to draw a tape diagram. Here's 3 solid liters. Now the kids are going to drink a whole liter. Boom, that one's gone. And then they're going to drink a little bit more, 210 milliliters. So they're going to bring 210 milliliters out of this 1,000 milliliters. Why am I calling it 1,000 milliliters? Because 1,000 milliliters is a liter. That's one way to look at it. These are all liters. That's 1 liter, that's 1 liter, and that's 1 liter. But if I think of it as 1,000 milliliters, it makes it easy because now 1,000 milliliters was consumed and 210 of another 1,000 was consumed. So my question is, can you answer how much is left? And that's the question right there. How much is left? How much will be left over? Number 6, Petra's fish tank contains 9 liters, 578 milliliters of water. If the tank can hold 12 altogether, and this is how much it can really hold, how much more can be in it? Now, this is a tough question because for a tape diagram, I want to know that the tank can really hold 12, I'm going to say 12 liters and 455. This is when it's filled right to the top. Now, she's only got like 9 in there and 578 milliliters. So we know it hasn't got filled up. So we're wondering, what's the part that can be added to it? How much more water can I pour in there? Well, this is not a bad subtraction, but look what happens over here. Yeah, this is troublesome because I can't take the 455 minus 5. I have to borrow. So I'm thinking, let's just do again, keep these things like milliliters. Okay, use them as milliliters, and then take away the 9,578 milliliters, and then we'll know exactly what's missing. Go ahead and give those a try. And on the next page, I guess we got the exit ticket. So go back, check it out, rewind the tape if you need to, and see what you think.